the painting I'm going to show you how to paint, and I'll just go through the colours I used. The paper I used was this, which is 350 GSM cold press paper. It's got a slight texture to it, not too much. The colours I used were, I'll just get them in order first. I used Cobalt Violet, Serpentine Genuine, Lunar Black, they were by Daniel Smith. I used Mission, Red Violet, Winsor & Newton Green, Windsor Blue Green shade, Quinacridone Gold, which is a Jackson's one, and a Hordham Acryl Rose Madder. You don't need to have all these colours, just get similar colours in, or use the colours that you'll favourite. The brush I used was a Sea White number 12 Klodsky Sable, and I did use a rigger, I think. I also used some bleach, which is diluted with water, and I used some salt as well to get some texture. And I think that was about it. And of course you need some water and a paper towel. And let's get going. Actually, the brush I did actually use was this Cat's Tongue Face Squirrel by Zen Art. And it's really nice. It's got a nice point on it and it holds a lot of water. And I think I used that for most of the painting. I started off by using a bit of the pink, and then I added some of the Windsor blue to it, and I just let it all blend in together. And this is painting wet onto dry paper and just letting the paints run into each other, which is wet onto wet. I just made the shapes of the petals with a wet brush and just dragged the paint around to where I thought it would look pretty, really. These were totally made up flowers from my head, so go and have fun and make up some of your own. Here I'm just dropping in some diluted bleach, and I love the way it leaves those lovely runbacks and effects and texture in your painting. I just love using bleach, it's one of my favourite things to do. And here I'm adding some more petals. You can see that I lightly touch the dark centre because I don't want it all to flow in, and you can control where the paint flows just by touching little areas. Don't be afraid. I then added another flower shape using the exact same colours and the way I painted the first one, and I added the bleach, and then I came back in on top of the bleach and added a bit of darker colour. I'm doing this totally spontaneously. I haven't got sort of an image in my head of what I want to do. It's just coming out. I haven't drawn it either. Here I'm using the green, and I mixed it with a bit of blue and then some of the quinacridone gold and made some lovely greens up. Just the brush gives you lovely leaf shapes. You don't have to do much work really. If you just practice with some brush strokes, and the pressure you put on the brush can create some lovely leaf shapes. Here I'm painting another flower. Don't paint all of them the same tone, means the same like intensity. Like this one's a bit lighter, of a lighter wash, and a slightly different colour. It adds a lot of interest to your work. I wanted this flower at the bottom to look like it was white, so I painted a dark background around the edge and like caught the light of the petals, and then I blended it out with a wet brush. I carried on painting some more flowers and leaves all around, dropping in the paint, letting it all flow into one another, and remembering not to make them all exactly the same. I didn't mind that the background was flowing in, or the flowers were flowing into the background. It just made this like beautiful effect that I just kept going with and kept building up the composition.
But at the same time, I know love is hard to find.
Same with adding the foliage. Don't add it all the same colour, all the same intensity, because you need some lights and darks to create some like interest into your painting.
Alone we walk alone, she is me. I know I tried lots and lots of times, but maybe it's fine that you are so hard to find.
Here I'm using a bamboo skewer just to drag the wet paint and also score into the paint to make the centres of the flowers. It's very not well, I love doing it this way. It just makes a little effect. As the painting's just slightly losing its sheen, I like to sprinkle some salt on, and this creates a lovely texture in the background. It like softens it up and makes it look all dreamy. Don't be afraid to paint on top where you've shaken the salt. It's fine, just keep carrying on, building up layers and adding dark elements in the background. Don't make all the edges of the flowers like hard edges either. You want to create some like soft edges that disappear into the background, and that creates interest. It's like lost and found edges of the flowers. Remember, your watercolour dries a lot darker, no, wrong way round, a lot lighter than when you put it down wet. So use a lot of pigment. Don't be afraid to use a lot of pigment. I often have people say, oh, how do you get the colours so bright and intense? You have to use a lot of paint, and the better quality paint you have, the more pigment it has in it, and you get stronger colours.
I know I tried to make her mine, but at the same time, I know love is hard to find. and lots of time, but maybe it's fine that you are so hard to find.
I just finished adding the layers of the first layer of the painting, and then I'm going to let it dry completely and then come in and add some details. Right, this is completely dry now, and I'm going to come in and like soften some edges and add some details and shadows. Here I'm painting the shadows to the main like white flower, just to soften off those hard edges that I created. I like to take photos of my work as I'm working. It just creates another dimension to it, and here I'm just adding some more salt to some. I put water over the top and added some more salt just to intensify the background a bit. Here I'm coming in with a mix of the greens. Mix your greens up how you like and the colours you like. You can create all different tones of green. It's lovely. Here I'm just adding to the composition and adding some more foliage to it just to build it up to the way I like to see it. You don't have to put your foliage in the same place. You can say, oh no, I don't like that there. Put it where you want to. Have fun, experiment with things, and don't forget to add some darks and lights as well.
It's hard to find. Letters from moonlight, wishes me a good night. We stand on the sideline. Alone we walk alone, so yes, I know I tried lots and lots of time, but maybe it's fine that you are so hard to find.
I built up this second layer of the painting, and then I'm going to let it dry again before I come in and add some more details.
I know I tried stands on the sideline, dances slow and looks at me. She must be the sunlight, shines a little more tonight. I know I tried to make her mine, but at the same time, I know love is hard to find.
Now this is 100% dry. I need to come in and add some details to the centres of the flowers. You can see here all the lovely effects the salt has created in the background.
I know I tried lots and lots of times, but maybe it's fine that you are so hard to find.
Adding the final details to the centres of the flowers really makes the painting come to life. Again, don't do each centre with the same intensity. Keep some a bit less detail than the others.
Stands on the sideline, dances slow and looks at me. She must be the sunlight, shines a little more tonight. I know I tried to make her mine, but at the same time, I know love is hard to find.
Here I'm just going to add a bit of shadow so we can see which flower is in front of the other. To do this, I just come in with a light mix of grey paint. It's usually a mix of what I've got on my palette of all the colours. And I come in round the outside of each petal and then I blend it out so we haven't got any hard edges.
I tried lots and lots of times, but maybe it's fine that you are are so hard to find.
Here I'm just coming in and creating another translucent layer over the top of the background to create some distant petals that look like they're not petals, leaves that are in the background, and because that is quite a light wash, they sort of look like they're behind everything.
Stands on the sideline, dances slow and looks at me. She must be the sunlight, shines a little more tonight.
Don't be afraid to paint over the top of the flowers you've already painted, because this creates lovely depth to your work.
But at the same time, I know love is hard to find. Letters from moonlight, wishes me a good night. We stand on the sideline, alone we walk alone, say yes. I know I tried lots and lots of times, but maybe it's fine that you are so hard to find.
Here I'm just adding some more shadows.
Stands on the sideline, dances slow and looks at me. She must be the sunlight, shines a little more tonight. I know I tried to make her mine, but at the same time I know love is hard to find.
And to finish off the whole thing, I'm adding some highlights with a white Posca pen. You can use white gouache for this as well.
Letters from moonlight wishes me a good night. We stand on the sideline, alone we walk alone, say yes. I know I tried lots and lots of times, but maybe it's fine that you are so hard to find.
Highlights just finished off the painting lovely. The next segment of this is me turning that whole painting into a repeat pattern, and with some examples of some mock-ups that were created because I uploaded it to Spoonflower, so you can buy it there as a fabric or duvet cover or wallpaper. It's amazing what you can turn your artwork into. This is a sped up version of me turning my watercolour painting into a repeat pattern. I've sped it up loads because it took me about an hour to make this pattern, so I didn't make you sit through it completely. So just sit back and enjoy, and then you can see the mock-ups of it at the end, what it looks like as a fabric.
Stands on the sideline, dances slow and looks at me. She must be the sunlight, shines a little more tonight. I know I tried to make her mine, but at the same time I know love is hard to find. Letters from moonlight wishes me a good night. We stand on the sideline, alone we walk
you so much for joining me. I really hope you enjoyed this. If you'd like to learn more about watercolour painting and patterns and textile design, please join my Patreon, where I have loads of information for you, lots of classes, and we work through monthly projects together with different flowers or landscapes or something like that, and it's a lovely community to belong to. Please also like and subscribe if you haven't already, and thank you for joining me, and I'll see you soon. Bye.